Good morning, YouTube. Warbles on a lot here. 9:10 Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So it's about 17 minutes past 8 local apparent time. And as you can see, Queensland bushfire haze has arrived. Up there in Queensland, I think they got 40 degrees forecast for today, and it's not going to get any better for them for another 2 or 3 days. But here, though their smoke has arrived, the drill rig has yet to depart. Because while I was off doing the grocery shopping, they were presumably reaching 100 metres sometime around 4:30, 4:45 in the afternoon. So they've just left it till tomorrow morning to do whatever it is that you do when you've successfully drilled down 100 metres and found water. Therefore, considering that while the rig was operating on Friday, I did speak to the bloke who was controlling it and secured his permission to make a video about it and to include their sort of business card as displayed on the door of the trucks, and he said that would be okay. So I'm figuring they probably won't get too upset at the concept of me making a bit of a drill rig walk around shot filmed in the moonlight, as you can see, with the crescent moon on the other side of the tower. And when it's not clattering and carrying on, it's a bit easier to see how the thing works. At least that's the theory. So the heart of the whole thing is this great big water-cooled diesel hydraulic pump. It drives the hydraulic motor on the winch with which they pull the new drill rods into position for joining them end to end with a tapered screw thread. The hydraulic pump also drives the drill head, as you can see it up there, and it's got a pretty good reduction drive, probably about an 8-to-1 from the hydraulic motor onto the shaft drive. There you can see the connection between the drill head and the shaft, and the drill head itself is pulled up and it's pulled down by that overgrown endless bicycle chain. And the bicycle chain is driven by a hydraulic motor. So by the use of this control panel and knowing which one of these levers does what, old mate can turn the drill backwards or forwards, pull the drill head up or down, control the speed of it, and also control the pressure with which the drill head is being pushed down into the ground. If you've seen the video that I shot when they first started drilling, you'll see that I was absolutely amazed that there was no water supply involved to cool the drill head. That's because this thing uses compressed air with its armoured cage around the hose terminals. The air runs up the girder in a metal pipe, and then you've got the armoured cable again together with the hydraulic motor lines inside a canvas protected umbilical, which allows the drill head to be pulled up and down by the aforementioned chaining of the drive. And the compressed air comes from this Ingersoll Rand 900. And I suppose your guess is as good as mine as to what the 900 stands for. Maybe 900 kilowatts, but I'm going to plump on the side of 900 cubic meters per minute. So it sucks air in from both sides. And it doesn't really apparently matter much whether this truck is perfectly leveled or not. Unlike the drill rig, which has only one wheel actually touching the ground. Having been levelled in order to get a vertical hole. Okay, so having got our estimated 900 cubic meters per minute of compressed air up to the drill head, it then goes into the end of that blue painted pipe, which, as I said, has a tapered thread engaging with those tapered threads, greased on the end of the drill rod, which, as you can see, has flat sides machined onto it, so you can get a hold of it with a Stilson's wrench and make sure it's extra tight at the join and blown down through the centre of the drill bit. And there you can see the presumably tungsten carbide tips on the cutting faces of the cutting teeth. So the compressed air comes out of there and it cools down the big bit of tungsten on the cutting face, and then there's supposed to be a long, thin, continuous bit of tungsten armouring the buttress of the cutting edge, and on this one that's obviously chipped off when it run into a particularly tough bit of basalt. But there you can see the taper on the thread. And the teeth. It would be nice if I could sort of pick it up and turn it around and show you a better view of it, but I'm sort of too well mannered of a ninja cinematographer to be doing that. I haven't actually touched it. Although to get that first shot looking backwards up it, I did lean on their rear number plate. One must be scrupulously polite when videoing somebody else's stuff. Okay, so they blow the compressed air down inside the hollow drill pipe. And then, after cooling the cutting edges of the drill bit, that 900 cubic foot per minute of compressed air blows all the rock chips up in the space around the outside of the drill rod and the inside of the hole that's been created. And then all of the air and all of the rocks comes out through that section of PVC pipe, which, as you saw on Friday's video, blows the rock dust and the air and occasionally chippy, chunky bits of rock out across the landscape. And because there was a pretty strong wind blowing, blown by the force of the compressed air aligned with the ambient wind speed, it goes a surprisingly long way. With, of course, the heavier particles dropping out earlier than the fine stuff. And then after 2.5 hours of painting the landscape with dry rock dust and chips, the water starts coming out in sufficient quantities as to form a sort of a riverine, water sculpted erosion gully across the spoil heap. And although this stuff, sort of basalt sand, it's pretty friable and easy, this stuff, it's kind of setting at close to concrete proportions. So the dusting goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is at 20 metres. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 35, 36, 37 metres to the tree, and it's covered in it. Take a bit of a dog leg just to get around the tree. Show you what it looks like. 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Well, here I am 100 metres out and there's still visible white dusting on the vegetation. Not much. You can see it easily to 75 metres. And if we take a bit of a pan around the horizon, looking back there 180 degrees, there you can see in the middle distance a whole bunch of beehives. So I hope the bees like rock dust for 4 hours or 3 hours. And on the other side of that, that is the roof of the farmhouse of Barilda, and across about there in the centre of the screen you can see the Barilda shearing shed. So that's at 1075 metres. It's probably 10 metres lower down than where I am here. I'm just about level with where the bore's going to be, or where it is. So the next stage of the project is to dig a trench about 100 metres and 20 metres uphill to just this side of my gate post. Now, a funny thing about water, you can suck it 33 feet or 10 metres. You can't suck it any more than that. So the pump is going to have to go either down at the bottom, or it's going to have to sit on the top and push water down in order to push more water back up. So it's an electric pump fed by solar panels, so it's probably going to have a battery bank and a control unit, and the panels have to be as close to the battery and the pump as possible, otherwise you'll lose a lot of your electric current to line drop, which is why these trees had to come down. They're above the level of the bore. They're pretty much due north of it. They were as tall as that one. So for 4 or 5 months a year, they would have shaded the panels and made the thing dysfunctional. I calculate that when the water from there is pumped up to a tank just about there on the flat spot, run through a kilometre of 50mm pipe down there, with a fall of say 33 metres. And not only will it provide water for Pauline to do the washing, with 1.94 tonnes of water in the pipeline moving at 10 kilometres an hour, if you put a collecting tank and a Pelton wheel and an alternator at the bottom end, every time you ran 10,000 litres or 10 tonnes down the hill, you could collect 1 kilowatt hour of torque, which you could then turn into about 750 watt hours worth of electricity for very little extra expense if you wanted to. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.